Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Sunday, June the 22nd, 2025. And as has been common this year, I'm a little bit down in the dumps this morning, a little bit flat. My football team has lost again, yes, and if you don't barrack for Carlton, I'm sure he's loving it today. That North Melbourne defeated the Blues yesterday, probably one of the more disappointing games I've seen from the boys for a while, and that's saying something. I've had a few of them in the last few years, but beaten by the Roos. Congratulations to North Melbourne, by the way. They played very, very well and deserved their win. And where to now for the Blues, we don't know. But anyway, this is a boxing channel. And as they say, there's always next year for the footy, although I've been saying that for a very, very long time. Let's firstly start with on this day. And back in 1976, Carlos Palomino travelled to Wembley in England to challenge John H. Stracey for the world welterweight title. And he stopped him in the 12th of 15 rounds. The 12th round of 15 rounds, I should say. In 1979, one of my favourite fighters, the Eastern Assassin, Larry Holmes, defeated Mike Weaver by knockout in round 12. If you haven't seen that, YouTube that. It was a beautiful right uppercut from Larry. He was in a corner, waited for Mike Weaver to throw a bit of a lazy jab, sort of slipped outside, and boom, right uppercut underneath, and down went Mike Weaver. Mike Weaver would end up, I think, winning a version of the title. I think he had the WBA belt at one stage, and was a really good fighter back in the day, good heavyweight. Fought a lot of the great heavyweights along the journey, and I think he might have fought Larry a lot later down the track in their careers as well. But anyway, that was on this day. That fight, by the way, was in Las Vegas. So 1989, Daniel Zaragoza defeated Paul Banky in the first of their three fights, and he won this one by split decision. And who can forget this one? 2002, the third fight between Marco Antonio Barrera and Erik Morales. Barrera won the fight on points and put an end to their trilogy. And two great Mexican fighters they were, that's for sure. So that's what happened on this day back in 2002. Now, we're about a month out from Tim Tszyu challenging Sebastian Fundora for the WBC 154-pound title. Of course, on the undercard of Pacquiao and Barrios. Countdown, you may as well say, has started. And I read a bit of an article on Tim about his training camp, which sort of surprised me but didn't. I think it's not a bad move. He said that he's based himself here for his entire training camp. Of course, everyone says you have to go to America for your camps, lots of sparring and just being amongst it over there. Tim has chosen to go down the Alex Volkanovski route in this camp. Volkanovski always trains in Australia, and in this or on this occasion, Tim Tszyu has done the same. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people sort of for and against. Look, normally I would say it's a bad move not to be in America because you know so many great gyms over there, so much sparring, so much variety. But on the other hand too, I mean, does it really matter? It really just comes down to sparring partners, doesn't it? So if you do bring out a couple of sparring partners out here, well, what's really the difference, I suppose? And remember, Sebastian Fundora is not just the average 154-pounder who, even in America, there's going to be a gym full of guys of the same physical dimensions, the same fighting style, the same, well, maybe a little bit of the same talent, who knows? But in this instance here, I don't think it's a bad thing because training-wise, it's fine. And don't forget here, he's going to be relaxed, he's going to be comfortable, he's going to be around family, he's going to be in a really nice setting. And I don't personally subscribe, by the way, that you've got to be up in the mountains or in the snow or whatever it might be to get a good camp. I think if you're a professional, you're a professional. So I think here at least Tim, as I said, feels comfortable around all his loved ones and friends, and the expense would be a lot less because he's not flying the whole team over to the States. All he's had to do, I think he's flown one, if not two, training or sparring partners out here to be his chief sparring partners for the fight. So I don't mind it. I mean, as I said, initially I would have thought, no, I think for a fight of this magnitude, not just Tim, but all Aussies should probably go to the States and be amongst it. But when you're over there for so long, you get very lonely, and I think if you're over there for 8, 9, 10 weeks, it's a long time. And when you're training, it's probably not so bad. But what do you do outside those hours? You know, you're sitting around. You might go to the shopping centre. There's no one really to talk to apart from your team. I mean, it can probably get very, very monotonous. And I think in a training camp, it's very, very important to be comfortable. And we've seen it back with Triple G up in the mountains. I think Mike Tyson was the same. He'd be up in the mountains, so that's fine. But every fight is different. So I haven't got a problem with this at all. I think Tim is his own man. He's been around a while now as a pro, knows how he reacts to certain things. And he did spend a lot of time in the States last year. I think they said he spent more time in America than what he did Australia last year. So I can understand he's probably sitting back saying, you know what, I don't need to be there. If I can bring those sparring partners to Australia, then I'll be okay. So we'll see on the day, I suppose. I'm sure if he wins, he'll be a genius. And if he loses, there'll be all those people saying, I told you so. You should have went to America for the training camp. I don't think that's going to be the reason why he wins or loses the fight. Well, maybe if he wins, it might be a good reason, I suppose, because people will say, geez, look, he's over here and he's comfortable, and it showed in the fight. But anyway, so we're only, as I said, a month away. It's come around really quick. I'm heading off in 2 weeks' time on the 8th of July. So I'm off to New York for starters for the 2 shows in New York, the female fights at Madison Square Garden, and then Belunga Shiraz in, Flushing Meadows or something. I did actually put it on the Google Maps the other day. It's like a 25-minute drive out of the city of New York, where they do the tennis, Louis Armstrong Stadium or Arena or something it's called. But yeah, Flushing Meadows. And I had no idea where it was, so I thought, I'll Google it from how far my hotel is. 25 minutes drive outside the city. That's a fair old walk, isn't it? I'm just sorry, I said walk. I'm looking at a dog walking his dog at the moment. Fair old drive. Fair old Uber drive, you would think. The Madison Square Garden's pretty good. It's only about a 5-minute walk from where I am, so I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, not happy about getting an Uber all the way out there. Now, just still speaking of Tim Tszyu. Now, it's probably always around the time he's fighting that Michael Zerafa pops up. I'm not sure whether it's Michael himself or the press or media, whoever it is, likes to sort of ring him for some comments or whatever it might be. And it's good for boxing, isn't it? You know, we all get talking about it. But what interested me, and I'm pretty sure this has been raised on one of our shows before, is the contract. Now, Michael said he's been offered he's been given a contract from No Limit, and part of the contract is a guaranteed fight with both Nikita and Tim. So according to Michael, Nikita and himself will be having tune-up fights in August on the same card. Now, we are only a couple of months away from that, by the way, and from all accounts, Nikita is far from being ready to fight. So anyway, we will see. But that is the plan, apparently. August is when they will fight on the same card. Then in December, or late November, early December, they will fight either in Melbourne or Sydney, or maybe, did they say the Gold Coast as well? I think there's been apparently inquiries to all the bigger stadiums in Australia. Now, I'm not sure Nikita Tszyu versus Michael Zerafa is going to fill out a 15,000 seat arena in Melbourne. I don't know. I might be wrong. There's what's the one in, is it Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney as well? That holds about 15,000. Now, I 100% think that if Tim Tszyu fought Michael Zerafa there, it might be a different story. But Nikita, I'm not so sure. But either way, I'm not really stressed about that. I'm sure they'll have a massive audience and it'll be a big fight. But Michael said the contract he's been given, as I said, guarantees him 2 fights, one with Nikita and then with Tim after that. Now, the big question I have with that, and I'm not saying it's not true, because I'm not so sure even Michael would be commenting on it publicly, contract details, if it wasn't true. I don't know. But my question is that how do you write into a fighter's contract, they're going to get guaranteed fights with other fighters who haven't agreed to it. So what I'm saying is that, and I'm sure this would be the case. Again, I'm not 100%, but I'll be pretty sure, knowing the business of boxing, that Glenn Jennings wouldn't be allowing No Limit to put in Michael Zarafa's contract that he'll have a guaranteed fight with Tim down the track if he gets past this fighter in August, and then Nikita, and then Tim. I would think that Glenn Jennings would be saying, well, mate, you know, win those 2 fights and then come and talk to us, and maybe if the situation arises, we might be interested. It all depends on circumstances. One thing I can guarantee you, if Tim Tszyu beats Sebastian Fundora for that WBC belt, I would probably almost 100%, or let's say 99.9% say that he's not looking back to Australia for a fight with Michael Zarafa. Just saying. He will not do it. He'll be looking at the Virgil Ortizes. He'll be looking at the Boots Ennises. He'll be looking at the Charlos. He'll be looking at possibly Crawford. I don't know. They're the fighters he's going to be looking at. Do you really think if he wins the WBC belt against Sebastian Fundora at the MGM Grand, he's going to say, well, let's go back to Australia and fight Michael Zarafa for, apart from, I suppose, the fight fans here in Australia who would like to see it? I'm not going to say love to see it. I'm just going to say like to see it. Do you really think that No Limit and Team Tszyu, well, maybe not No Limit, because they would possibly be all for it because it's a good money spinner for them. But I just couldn't see in any way they would go, well, let's go back to Australia and fight Michael Zarafa. And again, known in Australia, but completely unknown overseas. So that's my question on it. Again, I don't know how you can put in the contract that they're guaranteed without Glenn Jennings and Team Tszyu agreeing to it. And we've all seen the way Tim and even Glenn and everyone comment about Michael Zarafa. They don't want to know. The only way I think it maybe could happen if Tim doesn't win against Sebastian Fundora, and it's pretty much either Michael Zarafa for a big fight or nothing. That's the only way I could probably see it happening, is that both Nikita and Tim get past their fights. Maybe Michael beats Michael beats Nikita in their fight, and then Tim might not have much sort of left in to aim for. This is if he loses to Fundora, that is, and it might just be one last big event for him and a payday. That's probably the only way I can see it happening. Now, the other thing Michael actually did say was that in the contract, it said even if he beats Fundora and wins that WBC 154-pound title, that Michael would be able to be a voluntary defence at 154 for that belt. Now, newsflash to everyone out there that's saying, well, that'd be great. Michael isn't rated at 154. He's a 160-pound fighter, and I think he's only rated by one organisation at 160. So I know all sorts of weird and wonderful things happen in boxing these days with rankings, don't get me wrong, but Michael is, I think, I haven't even got the rankings there, but he's probably, I think he's in the top 10 of one organisation. It certainly isn't the WBC. I think it might be the WBA, I think, and we all know he's not going to go for Lara again, or Lara won't allow him to have another shot. I think that's the only organisation he's ranked in at 160 in the WBA. So how all of a sudden does the fingers get clicked and he goes down and gets ranked in the WBC top 15 at 154? I don't understand. So there's a lot of anomalies here. I'm not going to say it's not true, because as I said, I doubt that Michael would be making these comments if there wasn't some sense of truth to it. Or is it just things he's been told by No Limit that isn't actually factual? I don't know. These are all the questions we sort of have to ask. But it just seems very, very odd that a fighter, as I said before a couple of times, that a fighter would have a contract given to him with a guarantee to fight another fighter that hasn't actually agreed or signed anything to back that up. So who knows? Who knows? But either way, it's a headline. They always tend to, and this is the good thing about Michael, I suppose, they all tend to go to him for some sort of comment or remark or whatever it might be in regards to anything relating to the Tszyu, don't they? And we all read it. We all click on the article. I get a little bit of a laugh actually reading a lot of the comments out there. I'm sure Michael does actually as well. because there are some eventful ones out there. He's a very, very sort of polarising figure, isn't he, Michael Zarafa? And I think he sort of feeds on it a little bit, doesn't he? But it was interesting to hear what he had to say about that. Come here, man. Let's go. Morning. All right. Come here, man. He's just like, yep, good stuff. All right. What else is going on? The Hall of Fame. Now, that was on a couple of weeks ago. Manny Pacquiao, Vinny Paz entered into that. And I read an article over the weekend, and it was pretty much an article about future or who would be in line to go in the Hall of Fame now from the current day fighters. And I thought it was quite fascinating to get some opinions there. Now, the article was, where was it? If I can bring it up here. There it is. So these are some of the fighters I raised. There's a sort of sections of sure shots, probables, and long shots, and too soon to tell. Let's have a quick look at these fighters. So the sure shots are Canelo Alvarez. I think we would agree with that. Alexander Usyk. I think we would agree with that. Terence Crawford. Yes. Naoya Inoue. Yes. Chocolatito. Well, we'll call him a current day fighter. He's still active, isn't he? So we'll say Chocolatito. Nonito Donaire. I think 100%. Now, this was an interesting one. Tyson Fury. Now, by rights, should he get in? I think he will. I think just by his profile alone and what he brought to the sport, and obviously he won the heavyweight title, might be probably the only arguable one at this stage. But you would have to have him on the list, I suppose. Dimitri Bivol, yes. But sometimes the voting committees don't necessarily go by what they should go by, and that's pure accomplishments in the ring. Dimitri Bivol, has he got the profile to go in there? 100% he probably should, but he's one that will probably be debated as well. Francisco Estrada is probably another one. I think he probably should, but I'm sure that will be argued as well. These are the probables. Anthony Joshua. Actually, just going back to that one, that was the sure shots. I don't think Estrada, Bivol, or Fury are sure shots. Maybe Fury. But anyway, I think Estrada and Bivol will be debatable. It probably depends on who's around when they're ready to be inducted. I'm not sure. But the probables. G'day, mate. How you doing? Anthony Joshua, I'm sure he'll get in, but whether he should is another thing. Errol Spence, I don't think so. Arda better be probably in the same boat as Dimitri Bivol. I think he will. Kenshiro Terashi, yes, 100% he should get in, but being more of a low profile Japanese fighter, we will see, but should get in there. Deontay Wilder, 100% not. Why is he even in the article? Deontay Wilder, come on, give me a break. No, that is an absolute no for Deontay Wilder. And yes, I know we defended it 10 times, I get it, but come on, let's be serious about things. This is the Hall of Fame we're talking about here. Who else have we got there? The long shots. Danny Garcia. Yes, it's a long shot, but I wouldn't be surprised. And yes, I know Bivol and probably Fury deserve to go in front of him, but sometimes you just don't know. Danny Garcia, I would probably say no, but you never know. Keith Thurman, I would say 100% no. The Charlo twins, 100% no. Erislandy Lara. Now, that's an interesting one. Possibly Erislandy Lara. Yep, I would definitely maybe put him on the list. Maybe. Emmanuel Navarrete, probably. Yes, he'd probably go in there. Navarrete. Carlos Quadras, probably no. Adrian Broner, no, come on. You go and have a coffee and sit with Deontay Wilder while the others get inducted, Adrian. Ryan Garcia, 100% no. Come on, why is he even in the conversation? Too soon to tell was the other one. Teofimo Lopez, yep, possibly yes. Too soon, but definitely on the track. Tank Davis, yes, 100% on the way. David Benavides, yes, on the way. Bam Rodriguez, 100% on the way. He will be a Hall of Famer one day. Junto Nakatani, yes, the same. He will be in the Hall of Fame for sure. Shakur Stevenson, doubtful for me. Devin Haney, doubtful as well, but you never know. Virgil Ortiz, way too soon to tell. Boots Ennis, Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. But I'll underline the word potentially. He has to win a lot of big fights before he's considered. Jai Opetaia, yes, 100% on the way to the Hall of Fame is Jai Opetaia. And Daniel Dubois, if he beats Usyk, maybe on the way, yes. Daniel Dubois. I mean, look, I don't know. I suppose if you look at someone like a Vinny Pazienza who's just been inducted, very, very arguable. There's a few fighters on that list that would be in the same boat as Vinny. Didn't really accomplish, well, he accomplished a lot, but didn't really win many big fights or titles, but was involved in a lot of great fights. So maybe it was just his contribution to boxing over so many years and the entertaining battles and everything else that got Vinny in. So maybe there's a few of the fighters on that list that could probably be in the same boat. But I would think nearly all those fighters I just listed then probably had better resumes than what Vinny had. So he got in the Hall of Fame. There's so many things that go into it. I think sometimes, I mean, Manny Pacquiao got inducted as well, and that was obviously a no-brainer. He was going to go straight in. But it's interesting just to have the conversation because I only have, about 3 or 4 a year. So many great fighters over the journey. So many fighters that fall into those different categories. I think it's always a good conversation, but yeah, all of those fighters on that list, bar maybe 2 or 3 of them, I would think 100% would be on the way or in the conversation anyway. But give me your thoughts of what you think. But guys, that is going to do it for today. It is a beautiful Sunday. I'm going to go home and sulk for the rest of the day about my Blues and start planning towards 2026. And hopefully we can have a bit of joy. But anyway, I hope your team has a win this weekend, and we'll catch you tomorrow.